Bridge Between Hearts. In a valley surrounded by whispering mountains, there were two villages, Oren in the east and Mirael in the west. Between them ran a deep wild river, its waters silver under the sun but dark and fierce at night. Long ago the two villages had been one, until a quarrel between their elders split them apart. Each side claimed the land by the river, each side built walls and stopped speaking to the other. Generations passed, the hatred became tradition, but on a hill overlooking the river lived Eshan, a young woodcarver from Oren, and across the water in Mirael lived Lena, a potter's daughter. They often saw each other by chance, him gathering wood, her collecting clay. At first they exchanged glances, then smiles. One day Eshan shouted across the roar of the river, "What's your name?" "Lena," she answered, her voice bright like a bell. "What's yours?" "Eshan." That simple exchange was the first word spoken between the two villages in 50 years. Every day after, they met by the riverbank. Eshan would bring carved birds of wood, and Lena would send across small clay bowls. They'd float them to each other over the water, tiny messages carried by craft. One morning, Lena sent him a clay bird, wings wide open, with words scratched underneath. Greater than, "If they won't build a bridge, we will." Less than Eshan smiled. That night, under the moon, he began gathering wood. He worked in secret, carrying planks through the trees, hammering under starlight. On the other side, Lena molded clay pillars and baked them quietly in her father's kiln. By dawn, they had built the beginnings of a small bridge from both ends. But one day, the elders discovered their secret. From Oren came angry voices. "Eshan, have you lost your mind? Their people burned our fields." From Mirael came cries, "Lena, they stole our water and cursed our children." Each was locked away by their own families. The half-bridge stood unfinished, reaching from both banks, but not touching in the middle, a perfect symbol of human pride. Years passed. Eshan's hair grew darker, Lena's hands rougher. The river kept roaring between them. Then one spring, the mountains melted their snows too fast. The river swelled, flooding both villages. The walls of Oren cracked. The fields of Mirael drowned. In the chaos, Eshan escaped his village to save what he could. He saw the half-bridge trembling under the flood, and beyond it, Lena clinging to a broken tree on the opposite side. Without thinking, he rushed forward. The water bit at his legs, but he climbed onto the wooden planks, holding tight to the trembling beams. "Lena!" he shouted. She saw him, eyes wide with terror and relief. Between them was only a few feet of air, the unfinished space they had never completed. The river screamed beneath them. "I can't reach you," she cried. Eshan stretched out his hand, his body trembling, the old fear of failure in his chest. He thought of his elders' warnings, of how both villages had chosen hatred over humanity. And he realized if he stepped forward, the bridge might break, but if he didn't, both of them would vanish. So he took one step. The bridge creaked. Another step. The water raged, planks splitting beneath him. Then, with all the strength in his arms, he leapt across the gap and caught her hand. At that moment, the wooden halves locked together. The bridge closed, not with nails or clay, but with human courage. The two clung there, soaked and shaking, until the flood began to calm. Villagers from both sides watched, speechless, as the river receded. When they finally crossed the bridge together, Eshan carrying Lena in his arms, the people fell silent. The elder of Oren broke first. He walked to the edge, bowed his head, and said quietly, "We built walls when we should have built bridges." The elder of Mirael nodded. "And we let our memories become prisons instead of lessons." So they tore down the stone barriers between their villages. Children began to play together. Farmers shared seeds, and where the half-bridge had stood in silence, they built a great one together, sturdy and wide, named the Bridge Between Hearts. Eshan and Lena carved a single line into its center beam. "Greater than between us flows only what we give, love or fear." Years later, travelers passing through the valley would always pause to touch that bridge. Some said they could still feel warmth where the two first joined hands. And the river, once wild with division, now flowed gently, as if even it had learned to listen. The moral, the greatest distance between humans is not space. It's misunderstanding. Hatred survives where people forget to speak, to listen, and to reach. Every war, every wall, every silence begins with fear. But every peace begins the same way, with a single hand reaching across the gap. So if you ever stand on one side of a river, of class, color, belief, or pain, remember Aishan and Lena. Build the bridge first, the world will follow.